That's right. We are spending the next 3 days exploring central Kyushu, Japan by camper. We are super excited about this, and in fact, we can hardly contain ourselves. Can I come out now? We are at Takachiho Gorge, nice and early, not long after they open, because we have a goal, and that is to rent these boats that look pretty amazing, but we do not have a reservation. They have some slots left for the day, and so we're hoping to snag one of them before they fill up. Someone was planning on a really long wait, and then we don't know what time it might be. It's sort of a first come first serve thing if they have any of the same day slots available for renting the boats. So we don't know if we will get one at all, whether we'll get one for late afternoon, maybe right away. We just have no idea. There's so many more things that we don't know than we do. We just know we want to try this.
Adventure. Well, we managed to get a boat slot for an hour and 40 minutes from now.
That is not too bad. I was kind of worried we'd have to come back at like 3 this afternoon. So the fact we're only waiting for an hour and a half without reservations, I feel pretty lucky. Now let's go film the crap out of this gorge before we go explore it by boat. We are here during a weekday in May, so probably one of the busier times, maybe not the busiest time. I mentioned that we have to wait for an hour and a half. It's really not a big deal. There's a garden, there's a few shrines, and you can walk the boardwalk that overlooks the cool boat area. There's also some shops and some ice cream, so lots of places where you can linger and spend a little bit of time before you go on your boating adventure. This is a super popular noodle place, but by the time we're done with our boating adventure, the line will probably be too long for us to want to wait. It looks like this is sort of a fish for your lunch place, except you're fishing for noodles and they come down this bamboo chute, and if you're lucky enough to stab some noodles, you get to eat. And if not, it makes it all the way to the end of the line and it gets caught in a strainer at the end.
The water comes from the gorge.
And it looks like the last person might not get to eat very much because everybody's doing a good job of stabbing their noodles before it gets to the last person. I don't know. It's kind of a cooperative adventure lunch. We're pretty sure that those are sturgeons, and we've never seen them in the wild outside of an aquarium before, and they are massive. They've got to be 5 feet long, which is almost as tall as I am. They're massive. It's time! It's time! And that's it. We're off. All right, bye. It was a quick. Have you ever rowed a boat before?
Have you ever rowed a boat?
Yes.
Phil said yes. And they shoved us off, and now we're going in circles.
I know exactly what I'm doing. You asked to go in circles, didn't you?
I didn't go that way.
Oh, okay. Well, I know how to do that.
We received directions ahead of time that we're not to go too close to the waterfalls because our life jackets will self-inflate and then we'll be charged. They're filled with some kind of gas that reacts with water and boom, life jacket inflates. But everybody is crowded around the waterfall, sort of away from it. So we're trying to forge a path between all the boats to get to the other side so we can view it. And we're about to hit someone.
You my son. Rain down over here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Danger, danger.
Yes, you splashed me. It's kind of nice to not be the rower and to just be rowed around and occasionally crashed into things, including other boats. What did you want? Sometimes rocks, sometimes just going in a circle. We don't need to intentionally splash me. Okay, this is much nicer further away from people. Everybody's crowded around the major waterfall, but this is really lovely.
Supposed to look hard at work, right?
Yeah, look like you're doing something.
Is this where you say don't quit your day job?
Day job is YouTube.
This is where we were getting rained on.
Yeah. If you happen to come here, you might get dripped on from above you. Oh God. I definitely have been dripped on. Lots and lots. It's a series of waterfalls. What do you expect? Of course you're going to get dripped on. Of course you are.
We don't want the life preservers dripped on. It's 3,000 yen. Whee! Oh, we went too far.
We think we only have this for a half hour, so I think our time is up.
See my son.
Time to bring it back. Now he thinks he's in a race. It's not a race. Still not a race.
I use that a lot.
I think we got going a little bit too fast.
Action shot.
Oh, you get pulled in. What did you think, Bill, of your rowing experience?
I haven't done that in a few years. That was a lot of fun. What did you think of my rowing performance?
Okay, what he actually said 2 seconds before I turned on the camera was that he's probably going to feel that tomorrow.
Some muscles I haven't used in a while.
That was fun. I did get splashed a little bit, though.
From... That must have been from the waterfalls.
Yes, you splashed me.
Sorry. walk-up wait for the boats is about 3 hours now, so we're really glad that we got here when we did, early in the morning.
Now we're gonna grab something to eat for lunch. So hungry. And also come up with a plan for the rest of the day, including where we're gonna sleep tonight, because we don't know other than our camper.
That's not something we're used to. Usually Heather does a ton of work in advance and does a great job arranging everything. This is new for us.
Lunch was pretty good, and so was the view, actually.
We decided not to go to the noodle conveyor place. It seemed a little too kitschy, touristy. And went to the coffee place next door, had a good sandwich, had a great view. But lunch was really good, and the view was even better.
Now we are walking back to where we parked our camper, which is a 15-minute walk from where all the boat action is. There are closer parking lots if you have a car, but the one right next to the boat rental was super full and had a line of cars waiting to go in. So if you want a little bit less hassle and you come here and you have a car, you might want to choose one of the outer parking lots, which are free because the closest one is paid for, and then you don't have to wait and you get a little bit of a nature walk along the way. That's what we'd recommend. It rained all day yesterday, and so we haven't actually seen the region that we drove to, and it's beautiful. Just green mountains everywhere we look. It's absolutely stunning. The rain finally cleared up this morning right as we got to the gorge, and so seeing it finally for the first time is really quite spectacular from the windows of our giant camper. There's a food truck here.
What?
Yeah.
It's a little peckish. I could eat.
We are here to see what a Japanese rest stop is like. And we just pulled it into the parking lot, and it looks like we could park here overnight if we want to.
It's a nice quiet spot with
Quiet
beautiful scenery.
as motorcycles.
Well, I mean, right now it's busy with people coming and going, but at night I bet it's really nice.
And one of the first things that we've noticed is that there is a reservation system for RV parking here. You can pay to reserve a spot that has electrical hookups at the rest side stop, which is kind of cool, but you probably don't need it. But if you do, it's convenient. This rest stop looks huge. There's a food truck, there's separate motorcycle parking, there's an activity center. This is the gear rental place. The activity center. An activity center is at the rest stop. What kind of roadside stop is this? Wanted to turn out well. Okay. Oh no. This is probably one of the prettiest rest stops we've ever seen, not just in Japan, but anywhere in the world. I mean, we've only been to like 2 rest stops in Japan. This is the prettiest. One of the best in the world for sure. Absolutely gorgeous. We think we have a campsite picked out for tonight. We're gonna head there now to make sure that we get a spot before we go find something for dinner. We weren't sure whether we'd be spending one night or two in this area, and it's so stunning. I don't know, we might have to spend 2 nights.
I'm hungry. Some dried vegetables and fruits. Pretty good.
We successfully found a campground for tonight, so we are not homeless. I mean, it's hard to be homeless when you are carrying your home around with you, but we were kind of nervous about having a good parking spot because we are super light sleepers. You can stay at the rest stations overnight in your vehicle, so we always knew that was an option, but we just knew we wouldn't sleep very well.
And so we found a great place. We'll give you a very brief tour of it tomorrow, along with a tour of the RV. But now, we're gonna go get ourselves some dinner, and then it's lights out. We'll see you tomorrow.
In the middle ways, no way. We are the highway. We are the highway. We ain't got nothing to lose.
Knock, knock.
Oh, thank you, darling. That'll be all for now.
Good morning. It is the next day, and we are going to go on a hike today. Where are we going?
That's right. We are going to go hike in the Mt Aso volcano area. This is the largest active volcano in Japan, so I think it's going to be amazing. In fact, it's so active that sometimes they close part of the hiking, which they've done today. And there's so much sulfur gas that some of the hikes close, and even one of the visitor centers, I think, closes.
I'm okay with that, really.
It would have been an ambitious hike if it was open. Instead, we have a different hike chosen, but we're going to check in at the visitor center first, and that's where we're headed now. We successfully maneuvered into a parking spot. But before we go on our hike, I think that we should eat something because we have gone for a hike too often and been stuck without food. So we are learning from our past mistakes, right, Bill?
So many videos where I am so hungry because we didn't do this, so we're going to do this right. Let's go get some lunch.
Don't get run over by a bus. We are eating in something that looks sort of cafeteria style, and the view is fantastic with sort of the mountain in the distance, and I know it looks like kind of basic but filling Japanese food, which is sort of exactly what we need. right, we have our hike chosen for today. And we are starting out and we are going to hike Mt Aso. And normally we talk about how hard it is to talk while we're going upstairs. Right now I'm trying to talk while avoiding horse droppings, let's say. Oh gosh.
There's a big one.
Oh,
whoa.
This hike should take about 2 hours. And we're expecting to have fantastic views from it, and I've really been looking forward to hiking this area for a long time.
Whoa, watch out on the right.
I'm not over there. We are getting closer to sort of the ridge line that we're going to be walking up, and something is blooming. We are here in mid-May and something is like bright pinkly blooming on the sides of the crater that we're going to be going up. I think at least this used to be a crater. It's super pretty. We're sort of on the edge, I think, of the crater now, where we're going to be walking to get to the top of Mt Aso. And we're closer to the flowers, but we don't know what they are. Bill thought they might be heather, but the flower isn't right. I thought they might be azaleas, but also the flowers aren't right. So we're actually not sure, but they are stunning and they're everywhere and they're bright pinkish purple.
They're beautiful, just covering the hillsides. It's great.
Not to mention the view from up here is fantastic. We can see so far today. You can see so far. So far. So far we can't even show you. We don't have a zoom lens big enough. So far. Super, super clear. Not a cloud in the sky. We usually are hiking in the fall and not in the spring, and we are learning the delights of hiking in spring. It is mid-May and the colors covering this volcano mountain are beautiful. I'm looking at like the bright pink, purple fuchsia colors, the yellow, bright green, and also some brown from some dead branches from last fall. And the combination of all these colors together just creates this wonderful, wonderful woven like tapestry of nature. It's absolutely beautiful. I happen to match it today too, which is kind of cool. Not planned. Well, turns out I'm glad I brought a hat for this hike. It is so bright. There's no shade. Not complaining. It could be raining. This is amazing.
The sun is just blazing today.
Yeah, it really is. Looks like we are at our final push, which is a bunch of stairs to get to the very top. But we are almost there, and it doesn't hurt too much yet.
Yet.
Stairs!
Heather's favorite.
We are not at the very, very top yet. We're so close. But we just came to the top of a ridge, and now we can see the moon behind us.
That was a long hike.
It's not actually the moon. It looks like the moon. I mean, I haven't personally been to the moon, but it's sort of how I imagine it looks like. It looks like a completely different world, especially after we've been climbing up through all of this green and purple and yellow. And over there, it's reds and browns and no green at all. Wow. Also, it looks like they've opened up access to that section of the crater that was closed this morning, so we might be able to drive over and then hike up to the rim and get a better view after we're done from here. Assuming, you know, we can still move. I just looked down for the first time and I did not realize how steep the fall off was from where we're standing right now. We made it! I'm gonna say something that I pretty much never say. I wish it was just a little bit windier up here. There are so many flies and bugs just surrounding us, and that's so unusual for the peaks of these mountains. It's just really odd. So I wish it was just a little bit more windy so we didn't have to be bugged by the bugs. All right, head back down. And it looks like we get to look at, hang on. Okay, I maybe shouldn't be filming while I'm moving. It looks like we get to overlook.
Tourist goes tumbling off a volcano.
This just in.
Bad tourist, bad tourist.
Bad tourist.
I'm so ashamed.
Bad tourist.
It looks like we get to overlook the active volcano. All right, onward and downward. And we get to face the active volcano pretty much the whole way down because of the direction that we did this in, which is anti-clockwise, counterclockwise. Back down at the bottom, walking through the center of what used to be a very tall volcano. And we are heading back to our camper to move it to the other parking lot, which apparently if you pay for one, it gets you access to both the paid parking lots. There's one that's closer right next to the crater that we're going to walk up to, but that one you have to pay more for. So we're switching between the two parking lots that we have access to, and then we're going to walk up to the crater and hopefully have a fantastic view. Since they opened it up today, I'm super excited, especially since we've been overlooking it for the whole day. Hey Bill, how long did it take us?
Well, it took us about 2.5 hours, but we're told if you're not filming, it can take about 2.
All right, there you have it.
One of the nice things about having an RV is you have a place to sit that's in the shade, and you can have a snack. All right, you ready to go? All right, let's go.
カードを確認しました。有効期限2030年4月です。
What are we doing, Bill?
Walking up a big hill, actually a volcano,
Why are we doing that, Bill?
because it's the most active volcano in all of Japan. And Japan has a lot of volcanoes.
Can't you drive up there?
I see where you're going with this. Yeah, you can drive up here, but we thought it'd be nice to.
No, we didn't. We thought it would, one of us thought it would be nice to save 1,000 yen. The other one of us would prefer to drive.
What happened to traveling slowly? Watching the world go by slowly.
My knees. All right, it's only a 1 kilometer walk. It's 1,000 yen. If you have a car and you want to save your knees, that's what you can do.
Walked by what I assume was a shelter. It's a really thick concrete structure with a bench on the inside, and the hardest part, or the thickest part of it, was pointed toward where the volcano erupts.
Hopefully not in the next hour.
With any luck.
We are just getting to the top to get our first look. Oh my gosh, it's huge.
Oh, and very deep. Wow.
That's way bigger than I think either of us expected.
Definitely.
There's no way that we're gonna be able to show the grand expanse that this is on camera, but we'll try. Just in case you forgot that you are at an active volcano, there's a recording going constantly overhead in multiple languages, reminding us that there are poisonous gases behind us.
A poisonous volcanic gas flows around the crater. We advise you not to visit the crater if you have heart problems or suffer from asthma.
But actually we feel it. We can feel the sulfur irritating our passageways. I maybe sound a little bit stuffy. That's from the sulfur. So many people around us are coughing, sneezing. It's impressive. So I guess it's good that we don't have very long here because we're not able to stay very long. Well, that was otherworldly at the top. It just looked like we were on Mars or something.
As we were wrapping up, the voice changed. It said that the level of the gases had reached some dangerous level, and please evacuate the area immediately. So we're walking down now away from the crater as fast as we can.
Or they are tricking the tourists because it's also closing time. We're heading back to the campers so we can figure out our next move.
All right.
Good morning from our campsite in Japan, which has a little bit of construction going on in the background. This campsite is so beautiful that we stayed here for 2 nights while we explored Mt Aso. It's sort of midday right now. We spent this morning filming a bunch of things that we needed to catch up on. In fact, you might recognize the location from our introduction, which we had fun filming. But we promised to give you an RV tour, and I think that this is the perfect time to do it while we have this fantastic, beautiful location. So let's show you around where we've been staying. Welcome to our home on wheels. Come on in, but remove your shoes first. So it's not going to take very long because it's not a huge space, but it is bigger and smaller than we expected. This is the kitchen, which has everything we need, including a microwave, a sink, a refrigerator, and water, and a catch for the water that we've used, which is super handy. We love that this model came with a table so that we can get ready for meals on it, or we can work. And it has a beautiful large window that's easy to open. Every window has screens that come down. Be gone, fly! Be gone! And shades that come up. That is so dang handy.
Hey, what are you doing?
When we were filming, a bunch of bugs got into our home, our sleeping space. I must take care of them. Over here is a television that we literally don't know how to turn on. We've never used it. And storage for shoes as you go in and out, because there are no shoes allowed in the RV, which we are A-okay with, keeps it clean. We could have brought 4 more friends with us and fit them in this camper with us. Only 2 of us would have made it out alive. 2 people can sleep on the dinette when it converts into a bed. There's another bunk over the front cab space that has windows on either. Now I look like an airline attendant. There's windows beside you. The nearest exit may be behind you. Go this way if we hit water unexpectedly. Don't forget your seatbelt. Let's try that again.
That's totally going in, by the way.
I can't go in. And Bill really wants me to tell you about the cross ventilation that the windows provide. However, we've just been using this space for storage of our bags. You can also access the basement garage area from the main RV camper space, which has come in very handy. Ow. Can I come out now? If you've been watching us for a while, we mentioned in Nagasaki when we had our whole baggage issue that we were traveling with some extra things because we knew we would be in a camper. Even though it didn't work out for that trip, we have all those things with us again on this trip. Some of those things include a mug that we brought, which it turned out we didn't need because the camper came with one. A bowl, which we have used, and we always travel with this. It collapses and it's super easy. And we use it for breakfast all the time, and it's just a super handy bowl. We also have this, which can be used as a cutting board or it converts into a bowl, also super handy. And we always travel with 2 sleeping bag liners just in case we need them somewhere we're staying, like in a camper. Those are some of the extra things that we had for this adventure. This is the bed area, and this is where we've been sleeping, and there are 4 cabinets that store all of our stuff. Plus there's air conditioning, which we definitely have not used, and there's also heating, which we probably should have used.
In addition, this camper came with all kinds of storage underneath the bed in the back, and it works really well for our luggage. And it also comes with a propane hot plate thing, a kettle, and some basic cookware. And the cab area is nice and spacious and comfortable. It's a diesel, and so it looks and sounds and pretty much feels like a truck, because it is a truck.
It might behave a little bit like a truck, but it also has a couple of sounds that are decidedly untruck-like. Show 'em, Bill. Don't show 'em, Bill. Apparently we're not going anywhere because we don't know where our keys are.
A few moments later.
カードを確認しました。有効期限2030年4月です。今日は5月15日水曜日です。
That's a new lady talking to us. This might sound like a truck in a lot of ways, but there are a few ways where it doesn't sound like a truck. Show 'em, Bill. It makes that sound every single time we turn off the engine, and it cracks us up endlessly. And now we are off to find some lunch, and I think maybe an onsen is our target for this afternoon. That was a good lunch, and it was a Taiwanese place. It reminded us of our time in Taiwan, and we're just gonna pop the link for that somewhere up here if you haven't seen that, because we absolutely loved our time in Taiwan. Now we are headed to a hot spring in Onsen. This is our third time in Japan, but the first trip where we've actually engaged in the hot spring culture that exists in Japan. We found it super convenient since we have a camper. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on. But we found one that's here in the Mt Aso area, and we were pretty sore from our hike yesterday. I think this is the perfect thing to help us recover. He's not allowed to talk, he's driving. I feel fresh.
That was really relaxing. We've been really enjoying the onsens here. Showers in the campgrounds, they usually charge for. There's usually like you plug coins into a machine. Anyway, it spits out hot water, which is great. But for just a little bit more money, you can go to an onsen and you get a better experience, and it's a bit more the cultural fabric of Japan.
You do kind of have to get used to being naked around a bunch of strangers. We have been going to ones that are gender separated because that's the maximum comfort level I have, and maybe you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And even that has been outside of our comfort zone, but we're doing it. Hey, Bill, did you go in the sauna of this one?
I'm not really a sauna guy. Did you?
It was 88 degrees Celsius.
You know, water boils at 100.
I almost boiled. I only made it 2.5 minutes, but this one was really unique because they had a television, and I got to watch sumo wrestlers while I was naked in my sauna experience.
Okay, we didn't have anything like that on the men's side. But there's usually some hot and cold pools, and then this one was unique in that it had an outdoor area, and a lot of them do, but this one had an outdoor area with a number of pools, and even a walking trail. You could walk around with no clothes on, outside in this sort of walled off area. It's very different.
I know we keep mentioning about how you're walking around naked in these places. That is just so far from America. So far.
It feels awkward for us, but for the Japanese, it isn't at all awkward.
Totally normal. Totally normal.
Yep.
Well, we are refreshed and we are clean, and it is late afternoon now / early evening, and we want to drive sort of part way back to Fukuoka, where sadly we are returning our camper tomorrow. So we are getting back on the road, and we're going to drive for about an hour, and we have a campground that we've chosen that hopefully has space, and that's where we're headed.
One thing we forgot to mention, almost all the onsens we've been to have a nice freezer chest full of ice cream. So we're going to enjoy this on the road.
When we do road trips at home and we smell what we smell now, we call that God's country. You can't use that out.
No.
One of the challenges that we have found with driving a camper in Japan, or maybe this would apply anywhere, is that we cannot tell Google Maps that we are in a tall vehicle. And that would be a super helpful feature. Turn left. We never know whether the road that we're taking is like a goat trail, because Google Maps loves to send us on goat trails, or if it's a main road. And that has definitely been a challenge of driving this beast in Japan. We did not film at all on our first day with the camper because it was pouring rain, and it's so hard to film in rain, and we sort of had our hands full figuring out how to navigate and drive this thing at the same time. Something we did learn was that the toll roads are worth it. They are so much easier in a camper car than the side roads. We love taking the road less traveled, but in the camper, the road that is traveled makes sense.
What I found was the side roads are really narrow. There's lots of trees lining both sides, and they could be overhanging. We could bump into them. It was just really stressful. So definitely for the expressways and the toll roads, much better.
Well, we did not love the look of that campground. We didn't prepay, we didn't have reservations, it was unmanned. So we're just gonna keep moving. There's a park that's nearby that looks like it's free, and as long as the toilets are open overnight, honestly, that's all we need. So we're heading there now. It's only a short 10-minute drive away. Well, it looks like the park is going to work out for us tonight. There is a bathroom in there that appears to be open for 24 hours, and nobody is here, and it's beautiful.
It's a wonderful park. There's a lake and some cats running around.
A lake, like a small pond.
Okay, a pond. There's a pond and some cats. Some are even friendly. I will show you that in the morning.
This is an amazing spot to find for free overnight, and it does make me wonder whether we've been doing the wrong thing by staying in campgrounds. Although we love the vibe of the campgrounds. They've been super awesome.
Been a lot of fun.
I don't know. This looks like it could be cool too, as long as the police do not knock on our door in the middle of the night. So
we're told that's not a problem, but we'll see.
So we're going to eat some dinner.
Pick some things up at 7-Eleven. It's not gourmet, but it's really practical. Here in our tiny little camper with a very tiny little kitchen. So we'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning. It's the next day. We slept extremely well. Excuse the cat noises. There's some very friendly cats that are around this park that we absolutely scored or stumbled into.
Wait, do we score the cats or do we score the park?
Yes, it's a package deal. You get one, you get both. But this park is just lovely. I think it's an ordinary city park, but it's got some really nice gardening, some nice flowers, some extremely well cared for cats, and it's just a picturesque setting, and it was totally free.
And we slept really well overnight. There's so many cats. We slept really well last night. There were a few cars that came through here, but this is a ways off of the main road, and don't go under the camper.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing interesting under there. The cats are definitely a fun distraction. It's time to hit the road because we have a little bit of a drive today, and we have to find somewhere to put our garbage because that is probably one of the biggest challenges that we found with a camper. So let's hit the road.
All right, let's go.
Today is by far our windiest day. Thankfully, we have not had to fight a lot of wind, even on the day when it was rainy and we didn't film. But today we are being tossed around like a good metaphor I can't think of. Suffice it to say, we are really being thrown around the road. And Bill is really having to hold the steering wheel to keep us in our lane.
Stop making me laugh.
Oh my God, focus on driving. Winning. We're winning.
What?
We passed someone. What?
That's weird.
And then we got passed by a bus. But we passed somebody.
Winning.
Like a ship at sea in the middle of a typhoon. That is how we're being tossed around, like a ship at sea. It finally came to me. That's not even a very good metaphor. I'll keep working on it.
They're doing all the hard work.
Well, we just said goodbye to our RV, and we're going to say goodbye to you too. Thank you so much for watching this adventure. We had a blast.
Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.